Hello everyone, and welcome to another royal reading. I'm a little bit late today. This is Monday evening. It's been incredibly hot here in South Africa, and when it's so hot it's quite difficult to concentrate, so I've been waiting for it to cool down, and it has. And so I'm going to carry on with my year ahead forecasts for members of the royal family in no particular order and not based at all on seniority or where they are geographically. And today I am reading on Prince Harry, and I'm reading on him because he's in the news all over the place at the moment. His book is coming out in a week, and he is now releasing promos for his interviews with Anderson Cooper, and the promo is pretty horrifying from my point of view, throwing all kinds of accusations at the royal family about leaks and planting stories and villainizing the Harkles. That will be my second reading of today, if I still have the energy for it after this first reading. But the first reading I'm going to do today using the Shadowland Tarot, because that's the energy he seems to be in. The first reading I'm going to do is a 12 card look ahead at Harry, how his year is going to go. Big year for him. The Netflix docuseries didn't have the desired effect, as far as I can tell, meaning that the royal family didn't watch it, didn't sob into their embroidered pillows and offer an immediate and heartfelt apology to him and Meghan for all the hurts and insults. So next up is the book Spare, which is, as I said, coming out in about a week, and he hopes riding on that, but a lot of people are saying this is the last nail in the coffin for Harry and his relationship, at least with his brother. So we're going to have a look, 12 card reading using the Shadowland Tarot, and we're going to, it's based on the 12 houses of the Zodiac. For those of you who haven't seen me do one of these readings before, very simple. I'll explain the cards as I go along, and the cards are hopping around. So we're just going to get a taste of what his year has in store for him, whether it's going to be a year of glory or a year of ignominy. We're not quite sure. You might see I have some scratches on my wrist. The old dog was attacked today while he was out on his walk. Poor old thing. He's fine. I'm fine. I'm a little bit bruised and battered because of it. But that's life, unfortunately. A lot of dogs off their leads and a bit out of control at the moment. And they do think that he is a dangerous predator, a wolf, when he is the most harmless old thing in the world. Poor old dog, poor old me. But I'm fine, as I say, and he is too. So there are our 12 cards. Let's just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And make sure that you can see them. Just pull them down a bit so that they're a little bit more visible for you. I think that's them. And that's the 12 cards, and the underlying energy of this reading is the 9 of Pentacles in reverse. That's interesting. The card of independence, of financial security. This is a signifier for the year for him. Not being financially independent because the card is in reverse, wanting to be, wishing he could free himself from the royal family and make his own way financially in the world, find his freedom. But he hasn't found his freedom yet. Very interestingly, he hasn't found his freedom at all with that card in reverse. It's also a card of loneliness. When the card is upright, self-sufficient, happy to be on one's own, it's the happy single card, actually. It's a lonely card when it's in the reverse. It's something I don't often say in these royal readings because, of course, we're talking about money very often. And this has that energy of feeling quite cut off, quite alone, quite lost and lonely. Tiny violin playing. And let's remind you right now that this is a tarot reading for entertainment purposes, or my opinion, or speculation. I read on the royals because they are an archetypal family. Their journeys are relevant to us in our own more humble journeys. And there is, of course, a written disclaimer in the box below. So I'll move the other cards out the way. Let's have a look. First card of the 12, his public profile. How's he going to be doing? And not well. He's going to be coming across as very aggressive, very recklessly aggressive and cruel with that Knight of Swords in reverse. Knight of Swords is a conflict card, a combative card, a very swift moving, aggressive, military card. It can be quite useful for sorting things out very quickly and in quite a cold and a ruthless way. But when it's in the reverse, it's a very mean and vicious card. And particularly when it comes to words, swords are words, of course. So he's going to be coming across to us, the viewing public, as hostile, aggressive, vicious, out of control. The energy in the reverse is always the shadow energy, so it's out of control. It's extreme, extremely aggressive, acting before he thinks things through, being reckless, being foolhardy. That's how he's going to come across to the public, and that's his way of handling the year. It's your public persona, the public perception of you, but also how you go about your life is the first house. So that's not a good start. How is he going to be doing financially? The second house is a house of money, value, property, all of that stuff. And we've got 20 in reverse. 20 is called discretion in this little tarot deck. And that is the judgment card. And judgment in reverse, discretion in reverse, lack of wisdom, making poor choices. It always interests me when I see red shoes, because I think of, her herself over in Montecito, the wife, the wise old owl, when it's upright, gaining perspective, being awakened, being enlightened, having a second chance at something, but in the reverse, being foolish. Well, apart from making foolish decisions, unwise decisions, being judged rather critically. So he's in for some criticism about the way he's handling his finances, what he's doing with property and things like that. It tells me that he's made some unwise choices, maybe some unwise investments, unwise decisions. He's not going to get another go round of this. Whatever he's done, that's it. It's over. There isn't another chance. If he's invested unwisely, he's used up all his money. If he's bought property unwisely, that's it. He's settled with that poor choice with that card. And it's a big card. This is a big thing for him in this coming year. His financial affairs are going to be problematic. I've done readings on it. They do look problematic whenever I read on them. Many readings. This is trouble for Harry. Trouble in terms of money, in terms of property, in terms of poor decisions about what he's chosen to value. And it's confirmed with this Nine of Pentacles in reverse that he was hoping for financial independence, for freedom, not finding it in this year, not at all. He's in fact going to be in some quite serious degree of financial trouble, in my opinion. How is he getting on with his sibling? Of course, a sibling is under great attack here. We've got the Lovers. That's interesting. There could be, even though the papers are full of, that's it for the relationship, it's over, there's no chance of reconciliation, there could be a reconciliation. And he says quite loudly in this snippet, this preview of this Anderson Cooper interview, that he didn't want to lose his family, he didn't want to lose his father and a brother, and it didn't have to be this way, blaming them, of course. But that's a kind of reconciliation, the Lovers, and it's a choice. And somebody offering somebody else a little heart there. So there could be some attempt at reconciliation. The Harkles have said quite a few times that once they've aired all their grievances in their books and their docuseries, I keep shuffling these cards, trying to line them up properly. Once they've done that, once they've got all their grievances off their chests and made a ton of money out of them, then there will be a focus on reconciliation. And here it is quite literally with the Lovers cards. Major Arcana again. This is a big deal. This is something he wants. Whether she will allow him is a different story. But he does want it, and it is a choice, because the Lovers card is also about choices. It's Gemini. It's May, June time. We know what's happening in May is the coronation So it could be in that time period, late spring, early summer in the UK, that moves are made to form some kind of connection again, relationship again. I know it will not please people watching. People are over the Harkles, people are over Harry, but William isn't over him. I've seen that. I see he's waiting very patiently. He is not overreacting. He's just going about his business and kind of ignoring the whole thing and hoping that this all one day blows over. I personally don't think he will ever trust Harry again. That's quite different. But the door will always be open to Harry to come back to the Royals if something goes wrong in Montecito, and something, in my opinion, is bound to go wrong in Montecito. How is life on the home front? Speaking of Montecito, what's going on with home, with his roots, is where he feels he belongs. We've got the Chariot. That's a movement card. These big cards coming out here. Driving forward, moving possibly, but traveling also. He could be traveling, they could be moving. There are rumors that they are moving. Journeys with the Chariot. Ambition, that perhaps he has some ambition to be somewhere else, somewhere more influential, whether that is back in the UK with the Royals, because the Chariot is of course the Cancer card, and we know William is a Cancerian, or whether the Chariot is implying that they want to go to Washington, somewhere like that. There's been talk about that. Washington, New York, all been on the Harkle radar over the past few years. There's some movement afoot here. It's not a comfortable card, the Chariot. It doesn't tell me that somebody has settled down and is content where they want to be. The dog's having a good old shout, telling everyone off who's been trying to pick on him today. I'm not over yet, he's telling them. But yeah, there's movement here, and there's ambition, and there is a kind of momentum that's gathering here. So I wouldn't be surprised to hear if the Harkles move this year. Something happens with them. It's not a negative card, but as I say, it's not a comfortable card. He's not settling down and thinking, well, this is my forever home. Not at all. He's got ideas, and there's movement underway there with the home front and travel. Health and work. Not health and work. Sorry, I missed one out. Jumped over there. Fifth card. Fifth card is children. Life with children. What's going on there? Archie and Lilibet. And we've got the Five of Cups. Wow. A lot of problems with them this year. A lot of sorrow, a lot of regret, a lot of remorse, a lot of heartache, a lot of really being focused on all the negatives rather than any positives that there might be with this Five of Cups. This is a terrible card. And Lady C has been quite loud in her forecast that this whole Archie and Lilibet story is going to unravel for the Harkles. She's almost come out and said certain things. I am going to read on those certain things when my energy picks up. Hopefully in the next few days. It's top of the list of things to do. But this seems like a story whose time has come finally. The true story of Archie and Lilibet. And of course, according to rumours and speculation and gossip, I'm not going to go into it anymore. You all know what I'm talking about here. We're doing a forecast a year ahead. There is a lot to regret for Harry in the year to come regarding his children. Whether to do with his own personal relationship with his children and feeling that somehow it's gone wrong, and he's got a lot to feel regretful about, remorseful, or whether it's got a lot to do with the bigger picture of things that go bump in the night. We'll find out in due course. This is going to be a very interesting year, but this does not bode well. It does not bode well at all. Health and work. The sixth house, the sixth card of the 12 cards. Oof, big change coming. Big change coming for Harry in terms of what he does and how he goes about his daily life and his routines and things like that. We've seen a shake-up on the home front here with the Chariot, a move. And now we get the Death card. That's Scorpio card. We've got the Cancer, we've got the Scorpio who's popped out now. Interestingly, that's not good. that means that his routines are going to change dramatically. There could be health problems with the death card. I don't mean literal death. We're talking about Harry here. We're not talking about anyone else, even though I've said it's a Scorpio card. The Scorpio card is about transformation. It's about having to let go of things that no longer serve, things that you are comfortable with, but they are toxic and difficult, and you have got to break those patterns, let go of them. You've got to die and be reborn. That is the Scorpio journey very much. And this is the journey that Harry is facing in this year ahead, of things that no longer serve in terms of his daily habits and routines. It could be his own personal habits that are problematic, addictions, things like that. It could be his work life that isn't working for him. He talked about burnout, and we all had a good old sneer about that. Harry suffering from burnout. Ho, ho, ho. But something's not working. Maybe it's the Chimpo thing. Maybe it's the Netflix thing, the producer thing that he's trying to do, executive producer thing. But something's not working. He's going to have to give up and let go of. And it's going to be difficult for him, because when you go through this death process, you don't have anything else. You let go of everything, and you basically feel, well, that's it. I'm done. I'm finished. And then you have to start again from scratch and find something new to do. So he's got some difficult energy here, some very, very difficult energy here. He is going to come across really badly to other people. It's very aggressive and very cruel and vicious. He's made some bad decisions about money and values. He might be trying to reconcile in this coming year with William. He might be moving. He's got a lot to regret around his children, stories around his children, and his own personal life, his day-to-day life, work, health, in for a radical and difficult transformation. That's the first 6 cards. Phew, is all I can say. How is the marriage going to fare in this year 2023? How's the marriage going to go? The Hermit. Laugh. That's an alone card. It's the Harry card. It's the Virgo, the major arcana for Virgo. It's Harry, it's our Hermit. Harry, who's going to have a lot of time on his own to do some soul searching. And I just had to have a little pause there and go and have a glass of water. For some reason, this reading is making me incredibly thirsty, parched. But this is our Hermit. This is not a happily married card. This is a separation card. This is somebody going off by himself to have a think and do a lot of soul searching and wonder what he's done for life to go so horribly wrong. And I had just summed up how horribly wrong life is possibly going to go in this year ahead, according to these cards. And that could explain why there's going to be some offer of reconciliation in the coming months. And it's an interesting Lovers card to me, this. Because normally the Lovers are equal in tarot, equal status. These are not. There is one that's very regal looking, large. It's a bit Beauty and the Beast, I suppose. And one who's a rather tiny little figure, insignificant little figure, just going by status and size in a very basic sense. And that tells me that there is some level of almost groveling there in that card. So just a thought. This is not a happy marriage, getting back to our 7th house of marriage and partnerships. Not happy, soul searching, being alone. I've already seen the underlying energy of this reading is loneliness, the 9 of Pentacles in reverse. He's going to be on his own and unhappily on his own. Possibly with financial troubles, but possibly also alone, separated. Very, very clear indications that the marriage is over. May not be over publicly in this coming year, but over energetically. And it fits with timing that I have seen, and I know other people have also given it about 5 years. We're there now. And I think they couldn't fall, to save face, they couldn't quit before 5 years was up. But we're there. We're in the zone now, I would say. That's my opinion as a tarot reader. 8th house of death and transformation. Taxes also. I thought to say that. I haven't thought with anyone else to say that. But a lot of people are speculating it could be taxes that nail the Harkles. Let's see, 8th house. He has suffered a recent bereavement, Harry. His life is changing. We've got the death card that's showing up already. What do we get? We get the 7 of Cups. 7 of Cups is possibilities and a level of illusion, self-deception. The 7 of Cups. The 8th house is about things like investments in other people's money, inheritances, stuff like that as well, just by the way, along with taxes and so on. I think that he thinks that he can get away with stuff, that he has got more options available to him than he has in reality. Here we've got the bad judgment card. Discretion card in reverse. 2nd house is about your own money and stuff. 8th house is about other people's money and stuff, and also the government's money and stuff, being taxes. Some level of delusion there. It hasn't landed, it hasn't hit. I think his true financial state hasn't hit yet. He's not realized it. He hasn't had that awakening that you would expect over here with the judgment card. He's still deluded. He's deluded about possibly his tax situation. It hasn't really hit that he has lost somebody very important, very significant in his life. I don't think he's processed that yet. So I think there's a whole lot going on here that's not real for him. With that card, that he hasn't processed, that he is not understanding properly. 9th house, interesting house for Harry because he's got some big stuff going on in the 9th house. 9th house is, of course, lawsuits and publishing, both. And I can't specify. It's whatever the card comes out and whatever I pick up from the card. We got 2 of Cups as a breakup. A falling out of a partnership here. And there's talk that lawyers have ditched the Harkles because the Harkles can't pay. That's a rumour. That's people speculating that the Harkles owe some of their fancy lawyers arrears in legal fees. And also there might be a separation with the publisher. The publisher might say, well, we had a 4-book deal, because that's the story that goes around. They've got the bench, now the spare thing. Harry and Meghan are supposed to be writing a wellness book. What a joke. From 2 junkies, allegedly. Sniff, sniff, as Lady C would say. And then Meghan's memoir, also threats of that. I did a reading on that yesterday. It looks like it could happen, but it's going to be underwhelming if it does. And whatever is going on here, the people who are involved with the Harkles in these ventures, whether they are lawsuits or publishing ventures, are not impressed and are wanting to end the relationships, end the deals. And this could also explain why there is some financial trouble here with the 9 of Pentacles in reverse and that judgment card in reverse. And he's still quite deluded about how it's going, but they are saying, nah, we're done. We've had enough. We're not going to be helping you with your lawsuits in future. And there have been opportunities for the Harkles to sue recently, which they haven't availed of. And Lady C seems to be doing her best to provoke them into litigating as well in her recent videos. That's just my opinion. I'm speculating. They don't seem to have risen to the bait, possibly because they don't have a legal team anymore, or there is a prospect of the legal team dumping them. And same with the publishers. My heart bleeds. How is his career going to go? Generally, whether it's executive producing or being a chimpo or whatever, travelist, tell us about that. Ace of Cups. Well, he's still very invested in this, and he still thinks that there's good fortune to be had with that Ace of Cups. This is his big moment that's coming out this year with that book. And this is the whinge fest, the pity party, playing the sympathy card for all he's worth with that Ace of Cups, trying to get people to connect with him emotionally, That's what's going on with him. It's not a business card, it's not a money card, it's not a leadership card. It's an emotional card. Look at me. This is my heartfelt offering to you. I'm playing my tiny violin, and all feel sorry for me. Ace of Cups. So that's what he's got. And that's all he's got. Apparently he's got some weird conspiracy theories, according to Harry Markle and her blog that has been floating around. Also, some weird stories, some weird conspiracy stories, some weird tales of woe. And that's about it. That's what he's got to offer. That's his ace up the sleeve, literally. You're all going to love me and feel sorry for me when you hear how awful my life has been, and particularly how mean my big brother and his horrible wife have been to me. They're so awful, such a bully, so unkind, so mean, took all the money, took everything, and this is how I have suffered. We've all got one. Well, perhaps you don't, but certainly, let me not say any more. But it's a story that I'm familiar with, let me just say. And so that's what we're going to be hearing this year. Tell us about his friends, his dreams, his goals, all of that stuff. Does he have any friends left? Oh, we got the 9 of Wands. Doesn't look like it. It looks like he's really embattled. It looks like he's really alone. I've got 2 alone, or 3. I've got the Hermit, I've got the 9 of Pentacles in reverse, and the 9 of Wands is another alone card. It's somebody who's got their barriers up, who has got their guard up, somebody who is feeling embattled and feeling wounded, feeling battered and bruised. And so they put their defenses up and they don't let people close to them. I think he really has distanced himself from a lot of people. And it's another card of isolation. The head injury here is always, for me, mental problems, mental disorders, that he has got possibly psychological problems that make him see other people as enemies, that he can't trust them. He might be a bit paranoid. I am not diagnosing, I am speculating. I'm not claiming to be a mental health expert at all, but that is what the card tells me as a tarot card. The 9 of Wands talks about possible mental health issues, and then being suspicious of other people, and becoming increasingly isolated. It's troublesome, it's worrying if you are a member of Harry's family, the family that he's now rejected. If you are his father or his brother or anyone else close to him who really cares about him despite everything that's going on, that is a worrying card. And allegedly the royal family is handling him with kid gloves, not reacting to anything that's going on because they are concerned about his mental health. So, final card is the card of self-sabotage, victimhood, your shadow self, your subconscious, loneliness, isolation, all of these things that we've been talking about in this reading. And we get the King of Swords in reverse. It's another difficult card. It's a card of somebody who's not seeing clearly. There could be, in fact, even specialists involved around him with that King of Swords energy. Lawyers, there could be surgeons, medical people, experts. There could be, because it's in the reverse, it can be hidden, and it's just the hidden house. So he could be undergoing some form of treatment that we're not aware of. And I'm not just saying hair plugs. There's some rather amusing blinds going around about the hair plugs that didn't take, allegedly. More than that, more serious than failed hair plugs. But also people who might not have his best interests at heart, that could be influencing him. But the King of Swords in reverse is a tricky card. It's a treacherous card. It's a confused card. It's ugly energy, vicious energy, a spiteful energy. Whatever is going on there in his own mind, in his own psyche, in his own subconscious is not pretty. And we've seen that throughout this reading. Compare this reading with the reading I did yesterday on Prince William, and his energy was completely different, even though there were some tough cards there for him. Harry's energy is just very, very unpleasant. I don't like the swords in reverse, these sword cards in reverse. The loneliness, the financial problems, the marriage really looks like it's finished, it's over. He looks very troubled, he looks very isolated. He looks like he's not seeing things clearly at all, that he is obsessed with a certain narrative, a certain view of things, a certain perspective, and he is not seeing clearly. I've got cards that tell me he's not seeing clearly, that Seven of Cups just being one of them. That is Harry's year ahead, not pretty, but going to be interesting to watch how it unfolds, and particularly on the marriage front. So that's it. I'm going to scramble on to the next one now and have a look and see what's going on with all those stories that Harry claims are being planted and leaked. And thank you for watching this one. I hope your new year is going very well, and I hope to see you over on the next reading.